Hi guys, in this video we're going to talk about the add theme support function with post thumbnails feature. So we have already discussed what this add theme support function do in the previous video. It just adds an option to add different features to your theme. Okay, it registers the theme support for a given feature. Okay, and you can define this function inside the functions.php of your theme. So in the previous video, we discussed the post formats feature with the add theme support function. In this video, we're going to discuss the post thumbnails feature. Okay, so this function, as we have already discussed, accepts two parameters. First is the feature, which is required, and second is the arguments, which is optional. Okay, so this particular feature, which is post thumbnails, allows you to add a thumbnail feature into your appearance, not appearance actually, all posts. If you go to edit any particular post, for example this post, and if you scroll down, it gives you an option to add a featured image for that particular post. Okay, so so allows you to add the thumbnail for that particular post. Okay, so this feature enables post thumbnail support for a theme, and note that you can optionally pass a second arguments with an array of post types for which you want to enable this feature. Okay, so let's go to functions.php because we have discussed that the add theme support needs to be defined within the functions.php of your theme. Okay, and I've created a function called corner setup, and I'm using the after theme setup hook to call this function. So once the theme is set up, our custom function will be called, which is corner setup. Inside of this, I'm defining all the add theme support functions. So we're going to talk about the post thumbnails. So over here, all you have to do is just define this function add theme support post thumbnails. You're going to pass the parameter, which is the feature, as post thumbnails. And what's going to do is it's going to go ahead and create the option to set the featured image for any post. So if I go ahead and comment this out, you can see that the option to set the featured image is removed. Okay, so let's put it back in. Just for your information, you can also define this function outside of the custom function. But for now, I'm just defining it inside of my custom function and using the after setup theme hook to call this function. Okay, so if I just go ahead and define this, then it will give me an option to set the featured image over here for any post. However, that wouldn't work unless we use another function called header image to call it on the front end. So if we go on to our header.php, okay, because just one moment, not header.php but the index.php, where we are going to display the content. So over here we have the loop of the WordPress, which is going to help us display the contents for different posts. I'm using get template part function to include the content.php, which is my template for displaying the content. So I'm going to open the content.php, and over here I've defined this function, which is called the post thumbnail. Okay, so we're going to use this function, not the header image, but this function to go ahead and display my thumbnail. Okay, if I don't use this function, if I go ahead and comment this out, then it won't work. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So let's say this is my first post. Okay, and let's say this is a standard format. Update it. And let's say if I don't call this function, which is the post thumbnail, I'll comment it out, see what happens. You can see we have got this post with the title and content, but we don't have the thumbnail for that. The reason for this is because we haven't called the post thumbnail function. If we go into codecs, we can see that the post thumbnail function displays the post thumbnail. Okay, it accepts different parameters, but these parameters are optional. Okay, so if we again go ahead and uncomment this, so this is basically my entry header where we are displaying the title and the thumbnail and then the content uh, of the post, all right, below, and then the date and everything for the post. So now if you refresh the page, you can see we've got the thumbnail. So let's inspect it. So we can see that this is our entry header. Yeah. And then we have the title, which is the title. And then we have the thumbnail, which is under the thumbnail image div, which is thumbnail image div. And then we're just calling this function the post thumbnail, which is going to display the thumbnail for us. Okay. So that's the job of this add theme support function with the feature passed as post thumbnail is. Okay. If we pass the second parameter as post in the array, then it's going to work only for posts. If we pass this page, then it's only going to work for pages. And if we pass this post, movie, basically these are custom post types. If we create them, and if you pass these, then this thumbnail functionality is only going to work for those custom post types like post or movie. Okay. Post is anyways the normal post type. It is not the custom one, but movie is. All right, so this feature enables post thumbnails for support for a theme. It allows us to, select a thumbnail for that particular post, but it won't work until it won't work on the front end until we define this function. Call this function the post thumbnail, not define but call this function, which is responsible for displaying this thumbnail for each post. Okay, cool. So that's about it, and I'll see you in the next video.